this week we've got some useful information that might just help you.
Makes a change.
It does, doesn't it? We're normally talking a load of nonsense. I'm not saying we're not going to talk a load of nonsense, but just some information along the way. So we'll have a look at a few different vans because it looks like it's about to start raining. So family vans. So we're going to cover a bit of sort of market information, what's been going on, how we've found things, price information, a few tips that, as I say, are going to help you, and a few things that we can just check on our van. So but also then looking through a few different vans with different layouts and information. So 12995, it's 2015, it's a Sprite Major 6. So the Sprites were the entry level. They weren't the very entry level of the Swift ranges, to be fair. They did a Freedom range, which was very basic, so they didn't tend to have the ovens. The fridges were a little bit small, they didn't have the microwaves, so they were just a lighter weight version. A lot of the manufacturers have done lightweight versions over the years, but for some reason they all tend to have gone for heavier vans in the recent years, which is completely opposite to what you'd have thought, isn't it, with all the electric cars and all that thing.
That's true.
There's not many lightweight vans anymore, is there? So let me know in the comments what lightweight vans that you can think of now, because Luna, obviously they've stopped producing vans. They have gone completely, so there's no lightweight vans from them. Eldis, if you have a look at the bunks in the bathroom on this one, Eldis obviously did their lightweight range.
That was the Explore, wasn't it?
Yeah, so it was basically the Explore range. Now, I'm waiting for a telephone call from Eldis just to sort of speak to them again.
And dispel any myths.
Yeah, and just get it from the horse's mouth. But as far as I'm aware, the plan is to stop producing the touring caravans. So that's another lightweight range van gone from the market completely. The Bailey sort of did their sort of lighter weight range vans, but again, when you start to look into the fixed bed sort of layouts, they're all getting into that sort of 1500 kilos. So the weight is realistically, I think, for if you're looking for a new tow car, something that can tow really 1500 kilos is what you need. That's going to open the doors to a bigger variety of vans that are on the market. As I say, if I'm not, obviously there's the base camps.
Base camps, so they're stopped orders?
No, so I don't know whether the base camps are still going or whether they've just less production and a minimum sort of range, or a minimal range. So I think they are still doing the base camps, but very few and far between. There's not, so originally they had like the 2 berths, the 4 berths, the 6 berths. So I think they've cut the range right down on them. I need to double check on that, to be fair. So again, if you know, let us know in the comments. Sprite Major 6, so another Sprite Major, 1473, so still under that 1500 kilos, 15995. Nice van that is, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So that's just come in. Motorhomes, so again, you sort of have this thing where on the caravans you've got to think about what your tow weight for your car is. On the motorhomes you've got the other thing of thinking, is my licence allowing me to drive that motorhome? So some of the motorhomes are over 3.5 tonnes, so the big huge behemoth thing in front of us, that's 5.25 tonnes, so that is bigger and heavier. So you've got to have your grandfather rights, you've got to have passed your test pre-97 to be able to drive something like that. But something like this, 2019 Auto Trail Tracker, I'm just going to make sure it is what I'm saying it is, because I can't remember off the top of my head. Tribute, that was what I thought. I didn't think Tracker sounded right. Tribute T615. So a nice 2 berth this is. It's under 3.5 tonnes, 38,995. It's done about 13,000 miles. No separate shower and toilet.
Yeah, good. I'm quite surprised by that.
Little separate shower and toilet still. So again, that's the sort of thing that you've got to think of on the motorhome, and we always still get that motorhome caravan thing, and we get it where people will go for the motorhomes, go back to the caravans, they'll go for the caravans and go back to the motorhomes. So there's no real right or wrong answer. It's what works best for you. We've got a lot of sprites in at the minute, haven't we? So
haven't we?
again, sort of
light,
1476 again, so yeah, under that 1500 kilos. And again, we have found the lighter vans have been doing well. That island bed at the back has still been our most popular sort of layout, so that still sells really well. And then, yeah, it is obviously the bigger, heavier luxury vans. They do sell, and they do sell well, but it is just a little bit sort of, they seem to take a little bit longer. So it's just, I think it's just trying to find the people with the correct tow car. The little Alpine
That's
4,
light, isn't it?
yeah, that's 2024. It's in there cleaning that at the minute, but it's 1284 kilograms. Little fixed bed, if you see the diagram there with the layout on it. So again, that's a nice little lightweight one.
Do they still make those?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. They've crept up in weight slightly on the newer ones, but still, yeah, still good. Again, the little Bailey Pursuits,
Oh, yeah.
434, 1232 kilograms. So
That's light, isn't it?
still sort of a good layout. It's not been cleaned or anything as yet. Literally just come in, so it's not been touched. 12995. But yeah, 1232. So again, Bailey probably leading the way on the lighter weight range vans now.
They still make these too.
Yeah, so they're all branded slightly differently, but yeah, I think Bailey have still got that corner of the market. And what's scary, really, when you think about it now, is if Aldis have 100% stopped production, you've got Bailey, Swift, Adria. But again, Adrias are always heavier. They're always that bit bigger and heavier. We went to look at a big Mississippi the other day, didn't we? And that was 2 ton.
Yeah, it was
huge,
really
huge
heavy.
van, 2 ton. So again, the Adrias are heavier.
You need a good car to tow that, don't you?
Yeah, and again, it's sort of, it's one of those, isn't it?
But then I suppose
Weighing
if
up.
you're getting the Adria, that one was a bit more expensive and luxury anyway, so you probably have got a bigger
tow
sort
car
of car
anyway,
on
yeah.
you that's more thirsty on fuel.
And again, it doesn't look like the war is ending anytime soon, so the cost of diesel and the cost for towing isn't going to come down anytime soon, is it? So again, we've still got that that is going to affect things, and that will possibly then, if people are going to renew the cars, sort of thinking, oh, actually, is it time for me to go over to the electric side now, if we've got all these issues with the diesel and the price of the diesel's going up, price of the fuel. Petrol's probably a little bit better, isn't it? With the hybrids, but again, they still have got the same thing of it reduces what you can tow. But the hybrid is probably the answer at this very moment in time, and again, then your petrol price is cheaper, so maybe that's the answer for the time being. This is the Sterling Eccles Elite, so 1665 kilograms.
Heavy, isn't it?
So again, a heavy van. So again, you need that heavier sort of car to be able to tow this, which is again, so we have personally found that is heavier vans, unless you're getting into the twin axles, and again, people have normally got the bigger sort of tow car then, and that's why they're then going, well, I've got the bigger car, I may as well go for the bigger van.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, so we'll have a look at some of the twin axles in a second. We've got the American with the slide out, so again, that just looks, I love that.
You just expect it to be lightweight though, don't you? And it's not really.
So 1500, so I think that's lightweight for what it is.
I suppose.
I think that's lightweight for what it is. So yeah, that's really, really cool. I like that a lot. So twin axles. So if you have got that bigger car and you're sort of going, well, actually, unfortunately, still everything down this line down this way, everything from Solvay. Oh yeah, of course.
Oh, was that the one you were going in?
Yeah, that was the one I was going in.
You have to go in Sterling instead.
I'll show you the specs on it still. But yeah, still everything then down that side, still all solid.
Oh, you've got a lot waiting to go out, haven't you?
Yeah, that is our problem at the moment, actually getting stuff out through the door. but that was a great twin axle that was lightweight. So only 1,616 kilograms. So that twin axle,
single.
yeah, was lighter than that one.
Gosh.
Laser, obviously, that's a heavier van. So your Coachman laser, it's the extra. So we're on the 865, which is again denoted by the 8. So this again goes up into sort of 2 ton range. It's not got the weight on there. Let me find the weight for you. So yeah, MTPLM of 2 ton, but on this you get your self-levelling. Have we got movers? Yes, we've got movers.
Movers.
So we've got your movers, your self-levelling. Obviously a huge van. It's 8 foot wide. Again,
It's
really,
absolutely
really nice.
gorgeous.
Yeah,
isn't
I do
it,
like
in here?
these.
Like.
So again, we showed the other week. Coachmans can still have the issues, but again, we don't see as many issues with the Coachman, but they don't produce as many vans as your Swift and your Bailey. So again, probably in terms of percentage wise, it's probably not really that much different of sort of problems that we hear about. It's just that Coachmen produce less vans, so we see less issues. But yeah, that's stunning. That's a really, really nice van. Big Zephyr. So 1,800 kilos, again a decent weight van. Four-wheel drive motor movers, and again a lightweight van. But I feel that it is that thing of that you sort of go, well, if I'm going for that bigger car to be able to tow the bigger van, do I just go for the twin axle? But again, fors and againsts, isn't there? There's always fors and againsts.
Insurance and things is a lot more for twin axles, isn't it?
Yeah, probably a bit more. Obviously, it's going to cost you a bit more, but then obviously storage is the big one. Obviously, a single axle, you can get it into tighter spaces. A twin axle, you're not going to be able to turn it as quickly and as easily. If you've got tight spaces that you've got to sort of get through, tighter gates, you've got the extra length on the twin axle. And then even with a motor mover on the twin axle, it's not going to move like a single axle. Single axle is literally going to pivot on its axis. The twin axle's got the second set of wheels fighting it, so it can't move as easily. So yeah, it's fors and against all the time, isn't it, of sort of what works for you and then your situation with storage and all of that side of things as well. We had an issue last week, a warranty issue with a Caravan, and that's why I've been holding this tap all this time. Nice layout, isn't it, that?
It's a lovely van.
I like that big island bed at the back, your central washroom, and then again huge amounts of space. So our warranty issue is actually on a motorhome that we had our warranty issue. This is basically whether it's one of this type of tap. A lot of them are sort of this type of design, and this would be quite interesting to see how the taps work. So normally our pipes are up and pushed into here, and then they'll go on to our fittings. So this nut here fixes through the worktop, so it goes sort of like, let's try and do it on that bit there to show you. So it fits, goes through a hole in the worktop, that would lock the tap up. Your pipes would go into here. Now what had happened on this particular motorhome is that, can you see that little hole in the middle there? That little hole?
Yeah.
So when the pipes are into here, so your hot and your cold pipes go into there, they're pushed in, there's a little O-ring that sort of seals them in. There's a little pin that should go through there and lock those pipes in.
Oh, right, yeah.
And the little pin somehow would come out and the hot water pipe would just come off. So again, just sort of, if you've got a leak on your tap, it was a nice easy fix, and it's not always like that. Sometimes it can be that actually the little cartridge.
A hole that could have done that, isn't it? That jiggled the pin out.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we never had the pin in from new, and it's just taken a long time, a bit of frost or whatever pushes the pipes then. So yeah, it's difficult to say why. Normally it's these little units inside that sort of our little cartridge, and it's these seals here, and those little pips there go into here, and then the seal, that blue seal, goes around that there. And sometimes if this isn't tightened up enough, so your sort of top section on this one or your base on this one, if that's not tightened up enough and it's not pulling down and sealing up properly, we can get water coming in between sort of our gap here. So if you've got water coming out here, there's a good chance that it's going to be this part, and you can just replace just that section there. The problem with the plastic taps is sometimes they just crack like this, so if you get any cracking in the body, again, it's then not going to be able to pressurise down and fit and work and do what it should be doing. So the seals then can't do what they need to do, because it just keeps spinning and you can't tighten it up and you can't create that seal to actually lock into place. So that's a metal tap.
It's better, isn't it?
So they're better, whereas the plastic taps, they suffer mainly through the winter. We don't get that many issues with the taps this time of year, but when we do, it's either sort of a pipe's leaking, or the seal's gone here, or it's been something that's been caused from over the winter, and then the more use it's had, the more that the issue sort of brings itself to the forefront. So I thought that might just be a nice little easy tip for somebody. If they've got water that sort of, they've got a leak off the bottom of the tap, just double check that that little pin is actually through and holding, and that then you shouldn't be able to pull the pipes out of the bottom, because that pin locks them in. And that's all it was, dead easy fix. And yeah, it was just a struggle because of the place where it was. There wasn't enough on the pipes to get the tap up and above. That would have been dead easy if I could have pulled the tap up. Where it was, the pipe work was so tight that I could only sort of do the job in situ, and it was like tiny little cupboard and trying to get in there. So it was a real pain, but we got it done in the end, and it was literally just push the pipes back in, pop the pin in, and then test all the system, and that sorted it. So if you've got any leaks on your taps, it's that thing of, well, actually the chances are I'm going to have to replace it, so don't be afraid. Obviously isolate all your water system, drain it all down, and then pull it apart and see whether you can actually fix it. It's going to take a bit of time, but that then lets you know how the tap works. You can then take the tap off as well and go and make sure that you get the correct tap, because if you're replacing the tap, not all of these diameters are the same. So some have got bigger diameters, some have got smaller diameters, so it's always worth going to your local accessory shop or measuring it and then ordering one that is the correct size. But it makes it a lot easier if you've got the tap like this. You can then have a tinker around with it, see whether you can fix it. If not, as I say, it's already out, then you know how it comes apart and it's easier to replace. So hopefully that will help somebody along the line at some point. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. On Sunday's video we're going to have a look at a bit more information that hopefully is going to save you some money and stop you getting into trouble. So look out for Sunday's video. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and we'll see you then. Thanks for watching. I'm Mark at the Caravan Place.